As it turns out, you don't have to spend a fortune on noise-cancelling headphones, and at the moment, that is really good news. Life's expensive at the minute, isn't it? In the UK, we're facing rising utility costs, astronomical petrol prices, inflation, and a looming recession. So the last thing you need is for me to sit here and say that you need a pair of £550 noise-cancelling headphones. Well, I've got some good news, which is that Soundcore, who are part of Anchor, you'll have heard of them, they're huge, have just launched the Space Q45s. They're £139.99 in the UK. They offer 50 hours of noise cancelling, support for LDAC high quality audio, and they promise to compete with the big boys. Are you tempted? Soundcore kindly offered to sponsor this video. They've sent me a pair of the Q45s to try out, but don't worry, all of the views in this video are my own. They've had no say in the direction of it. So let's get into it. The Q45 Space are following Soundcore's Life series of headphones, and they're designed to bring ultimate noise cancelling paired with long battery life to give you guessed it, extra personal space. The Q45s are powered by 40mm double-layer diaphragm drivers, and they're certified by high-res and high-res wireless audio. When it comes to noise cancelling, there are 4 mics which promise to help reduce outside noise by up to 98%. It's also adaptive, which means the noise cancelling will change based on the conditions around you. There's a transparency mode, which brings the outside world in when you want to hear it, and the battery life provides a stonking 50 hours of playback with noise cancelling turned on, and 65 hours with it turned off. And if you give these a quick 5-minute charge, you'll get 4 hours of playback. All of this is wrapped in a mix of aluminium and plastic and pleasingly soft ear cups. They really are pretty comfortable. There's also a Soundcore app which enables you to keep the headphones up to date and tweak various settings. Lastly, if you're the sort of person who uses cans like this for telephone calls, you'll be glad to hear that Soundcore provides 2 AI-enhanced mics. Now all this sounds fantastic, but what you care about is how they sound, what the noise cancelling's like, and do they really compete against the big boys? We'll start with sound, and more specifically the bass, because lots of people talk about the bass performance on headphones, and on the Q45s, it's really nice. It goes nice and low, but it's not too overpowering. In terms of the overall sound profile, if you throw Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer through these, which I still think is one of the best tracks for working out how good headphones sound out of the box, they sound fantastic. It's a nice wide soundstage, and the bass part in particular on that track and the kick drum are nicely defined. It's just a very pleasing listen. It sounds alive, it sounds as exciting as Sledgehammer should sound. The top end is boosted a little bit, but it's not to the point where it gets tiring. Next, I ran my headphone killer track through these, which, if you're interested, is Breathe Again by Pop Evil, and they dealt with it really well. That track is a wall of guitars, heavily compressed drums, there's loads of stuff going on, and it really separates rubbish headphones from good headphones, and the Q45s sit in the good headphone bracket. On more gentle tracks like Easy On Me by Adele, I think the vocals are handled very nice on these, and they sit within the rest of the instrumentation as they should do. Overall, the Q45s produce a very pleasing, consumer-friendly sound. It definitely favours pop stuff, but that's fine, and I have run it through, as you can tell, lots of other different types of music, and it's coped with them perfectly. These aren't a pair of audiophile headphones. As always, I tested them out of the box without any EQ, but you can EQ them if you want to get them to where you want to be. But for a pair of such keenly priced headphones, the sound is really impressive. More importantly, these Q45s don't feel like they're shortchanging you when it comes to sound. Some headphones do. These sound a bit more expensive than they are. We're at a point now with noise cancelling headphones where the noise cancelling performance, no matter what you spend to a degree, is pretty good. And the Q45s are no different in that regard. They are really good noise cancelling headphones. There's not much hiss at all, they don't feel oppressive, and the world definitely gets a whole lot quieter when you put them on. You can't really ask for much more than that. When it comes to the transparency mode, which is when you can let the outside world in, it's perfectly serviceable. You can hear the world around you, and it does aid calling because you can hear yourself clearly. Not AirPods Max clear, but these are still budget headphones. And as for calls, they are absolutely fine. I never get too much into the weeds with this stuff because I don't use noise cancelling headphones or over-ear noise cancelling headphones for taking calls. But I have tested them, and the person on the other end could hear me, I could hear them, it was perfectly clear. They're great. When it comes to the design of the Q45s, I think it's neither understated nor garish. They kind of sit somewhere in the middle. They're a very comfortable pair of headphones as well. This is a very subjective topic, I know, but for my head, for my ears, they fit very nicely and I can wear them for long periods of time without getting too hot or uncomfortable. And for a budget pair of headphones, the padding on the ear cups and also up here on the headband is really nice. There's also no driver protrusion, so that is when you have the driver basically sticking out within the ear cup. That can get very uncomfortable. For me, I did not experience that with these at all. The good news is that Soundcore has applied some common sense with the Q45 case. It's this kind of design, which is very similar to the Sony XM4 design, which is one of the best on the market. Not too thick, not too heavy, nice and tough. There's no internal compartment for your cables and things, but I can forgive that, again, given the price, and just the fact that this case does protect the headphones perfectly. When it comes to convenience and living with these headphones, the Q45s really show their strengths. That battery life is just incredible. And I know that we're getting to a stage now where new headphones that are coming on the market are all kind of going beyond 40, 50 hours. But again, when you think of the price of these, it's 2 times longer than some of the much more expensive competitors on the market. I think 50 hours will get most normal users through 2 weeks, possibly longer. That is helped big time by the brilliant standby time. So when you turn these off, you can turn them off, which is Apple, if you're listening, that's what you should be able to do with headphones. But when you turn them off, they barely lose any percentage points. Oh, and they obviously charge via USB-C. Again, that is just a no-brainer. So living with them, convenience, the Q45s absolutely smash it in that regard. And a quick shout out to whoever managed to put proper physical buttons on these, which are properly labeled as well. So you've got power, you've got noise cancelling on and off and transparency mode, play, pause, volume. They're proper buttons. There's no stupid touch controls on these. That is a huge win. So all in all, the Q45s are a brilliant pair of budget noise cancelling headphones. They're the best I've tried, actually. But how do they compare against the flagships? In front of me are 2 far more expensive pairs of noise cancelling headphones. We've got the Sony XM5s, which cost about £375 in the UK, and the Bowers & Wilkins PX7 S2, which cost about £380. But what do you get for that? Well, the PX7s feel more premium than the Q45s. They feel very premium, actually. I love the look of these headphones. I love the materials used. And they're up there, I think, with the AirPods Max in that regard. So if the aesthetic thing is your thing, Bowers & Wilkins do make you feel better for spending so much money on their headphones. They feel expensive. They look expensive. The XM5s, not quite as much. To be completely honest, these feel about the same in terms of quality as the Q45s, and they're much more expensive. I think that's partly because Sony uses recycled plastic for these, but they're just very light, which is a benefit to a degree, I suppose. But when you compare the price of these to these, they feel about the same in terms of quality. When it comes to sound, there's not a huge difference between these 3 pairs of headphones unless you're really, really into your sound. As mentioned earlier, the Q45s sound fantastic and they don't feel like they're shortchanging you. No one, bar reviewers like myself, sit there A/B testing headphones. If you buy the Q45s, you'll love the sound. It's very, very good for the price. And if you buy either one of these pairs of headphones, you'll love the sound. And the same goes for noise cancelling. Unless you sit there testing each one of these side by side, you're going to be happy with the noise cancelling. But where the Q45s absolutely smash both of these is with that 50 hours of playback time and the price. Combining those 2 things, convenience and budget, at the moment is an absolute winner. And clearly, if you're watching the pennies at the moment like so many other people, including me, then it's hard to look past products like the Q45s. If you've still got some time and you want to hear my full thoughts on why the XM5s are a bit of a disappointment, keep watching for a link to that full review.